Hey, what's up, guys? It's been a while since I haven't uploaded anything, and in today's video, I am going to be giving a complete tutorial of advanced Twixtor, which is usually used in Floated. And this video will have complete explanations, so I don't think you guys will need any other tutorial after you guys watch this video. So here's a preview of what you guys will be learning today. So, anyways, as you guys can see, I have two clips prepared right here. So these are the two clips. These clips are from Boruto, and this is Naruto just punching, and this is him moving. It's probably Ishiki. I can't remember his name. So, anyways, so the first thing is the direction of the movements always needs to be the same. So over here, Naruto is moving to the punching to the left. If you can see, he's punching to the left. But over here, this guy is moving to the right. Right, that means it's not flowing along. So we have to make sure they're both going towards the same direction. So in order to do that, you just need to flip this clip. So to do that, just right click and go to transform and flip horizontal. So that will just flip it. So we have them on the same direction now, right? Okay. So now what we have to do is start with Twixtoring. So I need to, before I start with Twixtoring, I'll just turn off the audios of this clip. So first, I have to explain few things before I go Twixtoring. So normal Twixtor that you guys probably do is basically done this way. What we do is just go every frame there is a movement, including the first frame. You just go like every frame there is a movement, blah blah blah, and just put all of them together like this, and then you just skip one frame and just cut there, and then you just Control Shift C pre-compose, add your Twixtor, and then remap it and do some sort of graph like this, right? But this is not how you do advanced Twixtor. Advanced Twixtor is a bit different. Or some people do in a split method, like you go just like split, 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 and then you just select from the bottom to the top all of them, and then you just like split them, and you go like keyframe assistant, sequence layer, and all of them sequence, then you pre-compose it. But that's not how you do advanced Twixtor. It's a little bit different. So what's different about advanced Twixtor? You don't really Twixtor the whole clip. You Twixtor the portion that needs to be Twixtor. Um, so if I'm explaining what needs to be Twixtor, so Twixtor are usually done over small movements where the frames are not too apart from each other, like they're little movements. So that those things are Twixtor, but big movements are not Twixtor because big movement creates warps. So if I'm showing you some example of it, by the way, big movements are called impact frames or action frames, and slow movements are called like small movements or just build up frames. So this is the impact frame. As you can see, he moves from this to this. It's a big difference. But over here, from this frame to this frame, there is not a big difference. It's just a smoke moving. Again, from this frame to this frame, there's a big difference. It's an impact frame. Here, from here to here, it's just a small movement, so it's not an impact frame. Again, this one can be an impact frame. Again, it can be a small movement, but look at these ones. These are like small movement, right? So you might be a bit confused about the difference of small movement and big movement. If I show you a proper big movement, you'll just get it clearly. So this is a proper big movement. Look, from this to this to this. This is a proper big movement, right? So these are the impact frames. So the ruling of advanced Twixtoring is, first of all, am I recording? Yeah, okay. So first of all, you need to there are two types of Twixtoring. Some people do like 3-framer method, some people do 2-framer method. So you'll just get in a bit what I mean by 3-framer and 2-framers. First of all, you find two frames which are far apart from each other. So for example, I will have these two frames which are quite far apart from each other here. Okay, so we have these two frames. Now this is actually too far. So yeah, these two are fine. Okay, as you can see. And now we'll just find two frames at the end. This is nothing, so I'll just remove that. Now we have this. We take this somewhere here, and we take maybe this one. Just split this. Now we have like these two. All right, so we have like this, this. You see that? Okay. Anyways, now we have like these frames prepared. So you have 2 frames at the end, 2 frames at the beginning. That's why it's called 2-framer. So by now you might understand what 3-framer is. Just 3 frames at the beginning, 3 frames at the end. You just do what looks nice. So I'll be showing you the 2-framer method today. So yeah, now we need to. So as you can see, this is looking like this, and it kind of looks nice. So we need to Twixtor only this part. Remember, only this part. We don't Twixtor these, we just leave them as they are. So I'll just change the color of this for you guys understanding. So now we will just uh, like cut every frame there is a movement, or you can just time remap every frame there is a movement. So I'll be telling you one important thing here today. So I've seen many people putting a keyframe or just splitting where there is a movement on the camera or background, but please do avoid that because that creates warp. What you really want to do is only focus on the main character, just the main character. Keep that in mind. So it doesn't matter if there is an earthquake in the background, you still don't want to split or just put keyframe. Only if there's a movement, small or big doesn't matter. Sorry, don't do big one because big ones are like impact frames. You just split them and keep them separate. So if there's just a small movement on the character, you just put move keyframe then. So over here, right here, is only the camera, nothing about this. Here, I'll just put, here we have a movement, right? Here again, nothing. Here we have another movement. Here we have another movement. So we have like 4 movements in total. So we have these. Now you wanna go to keyframe assistant by right clicking on it. Oh, by the way, something important, you must make sure you select the lower one first and then the topper one. If you do the opposite, what happens? I'll just show you what happens if you do the opposite. So suppose you did the opposite, you select the first one and then you select the last one, and you did sequence layer. You'll see that the clips has been reverse sequenced, which means it will go to the opposite direction. So you must select the last one and then the first one. Then go to keyframe assistant and sequence layer. Now look, it's on the right direction. See? So now you want to do a right click and pre-compose, or just press Ctrl Shift C and make sure it should be on these settings. You just check this box, and now once you have this, you want to add Twixtor. And one thing I forgot to mention earlier, that is, while you are doing advanced Twixtor, always make sure the best frame rate for advanced Twixtor is 23.976 or lower. But I highly suggest using 23.976. So you want to set this to 23.976, the input frame rate, and this to contrast, edge enhance, and the main BG blur settings to 100. Now we have this ready. Nothing, no more settings for the Twixtor. You just pre-compose it once again and make sure you select this. Okay, now add RSMB for better look. See, if it's too much, just decrease the RSMB. For me, it looks too much, so I just set it to 0.3. You can use RSMB Pro if you want to. It's up to you totally. And now you want to do is time remap, enable time remap. There are 2 ways to do it. One is just by going to right-clicking in it, going to time and enable time remapping. And the second way is just doing Control Alt T. So once you're there, you just take the last keyframe, this one, and put it just to 1 frame ahead of where it ends. So over here, as this is starting from here, like this is starting, so it's supposed to end right here, right? So you're not gonna put it there. You're just gonna put 1 frame ahead of where it ends. Just keep that in mind. Why are we doing it? Because usually the last frame is black. So if you want to avoid that black thing, you have to put it one frame ahead to avoid the black screen. So because you don't want to Twixtor black screen. Now, if you have flow script, you should definitely have this graph. Or if not, you can just make it the same graph in the graph editor. So it's just easy as them. I'll just show you this in the graph editor. This is the graph. You just make the same graph in the graph editor. Okay. Now we have this. All right. Now all together, this is how it looks. See, I'll just top to bottom. I'll just pre-compose all of it. All right. Now this is how it looks. See that? All right. Now what I'll do is I'll just pre-compose the next scene. We have flipped the next scene already. So we want one frame before the punch lands, just to create impact. I'm just making sure there are big difference. So I'm doing two framer method on this one as well. And this one is just the effect of the punch. Like after he gets punched, the movements or the effect of the punch. So doesn't need to be too long. And at the end, I'll just get some big movements. This is one big. This is big. The big movement. And this one, yeah, looks okay. It's actually not that big because on the end of this scene there is no impact frame, but over here there are impact frames. So don't bother that much. And I'll just change the color for you guys to understand better. Now, only keyframe when there is a movement on the character. Okay? I mean, only split when there is a movement in character. Just like right here. This is actually, you might think he's actually moving, but he's not. Is the camera. But still, you can put it because he is kind of moving. If you notice the hair, there are small movements. So here there's a movement. Here there's just a camera. Avoid that. Avoid this one too. Yeah, you can put this one. No, it's only the camera. Avoid that. This one as well. Okay, this one. Yeah. Now select the bottom one first. Then hold Shift and select the first one. That's how you select too many things together. Now you just split them like this and right click, go to Keyframe Assistant, Sequence Layer, and press OK. Now we have them all sequenced together nicely. You just want to Control Shift C to pre-compose and make sure you're checking this box, Adjust Composition Duration. Okay, now just do the exact same Twixtor setting I have shown for the earlier clip. Now go to Image Prep, set it to Contrast, Edge Enhance. By the way, you can just totally avoid the enhance setting. It's just for some a bit nicer look, but honestly, there is no difference. There might be very small difference, but not visible in eyes. So you just pre-compose it once again. Make sure you're selecting this one. Move all attributes into the new composition. Now what you want to do is add RSMB to it. So just RSMB or RSMB Pro. This RSMB is not too much, so I want to play around with the settings of it. Now just enable time remapping like this. Now go to where the two frame start. Take this, drag it just one frame ahead of where it ends, and now split there, and you have this. And do the exact same graph, and like this. Now I'll show you one thing. If you guys notice, there are warps, right? So how do you really avoid this warp? I'll just show you that. These warps are bad. Now they're, first of all, increase the RSMB. That kind of helps to avoid the warp. But if the warp is too much, go to the point where there is like over here, this is too much warp. Go to a point where there is no warp, like this point, there is no warp. Put a keyframe there. Now you're gonna drag these two and put them together. What that does is just take the warpless portion, and you have the warpless portion only. And this is the warp area. It's on the back. And you just ease these two, and that should kind of reduce the warp. Yeah, it should reduce the warp. Now there might be some warp because this is a After Effects fixture, but if you want to get completely rid of the warp, I think you should watch Zeno's tutorial of Flow Twix. So that is like how you completely get rid of every warp. So yeah. Anyways, this is how this goes. Like this. All right. I think I'll just play around a bit with this. So what you wanna do is just go to every frame there's warp and just try different graphs until it looks nice. Big warp. Maybe this one was better, honestly. I'll just play around a bit more till I don't see any more warp. All right. This portion doesn't have any warp, so I'll just put this to the end. Okay, this is now. I'll just play around with it a bit more. Okay, this has comparatively less warps, right? This has comparatively less warps. So we have this right now, as you can see. So this is the final preview of how the Twixtor looks. And by the way, to make it look nicer, what you can do is you can let me just pre-compose all of it first. You can add blur to it. What you do is you just go to this layer and add BCC lens blur ups. Lens blur ups. I just missed the S. Sorry. So we have lens blur ups right now, and what we do is go to the very last frame, set a keyframe on the iris scale, go 2 frame back, and set this to 0. And now go to the very first frame, set this to 15 again, go 2 frame ahead, set this to 0. Now you just copy this and put it right on this one. Okay, so yeah, this is how it looks. This is how it looks. And if you want it to look nicer, you can just add an exposure flicker. How you do that is simple. Control Alt Y, or just right click New Adjustment Layer. Now just go set 1, 2, 3 frames to the left, and from the middle 3 frames, actually 4 frames to the right. All right. Now what you do is add exposure. Set this to 2. Go 1 frame ahead. Okay. By the way, do not forget to put a keyframe of exposure. Go 1 frame ahead. Set this to 1. Go 1 frame ahead. Set this to 0. Go 1 frame ahead. Set this to 2 again. And set this to 1. Go 1 frame ahead. Set this to 2. Now go to the end of it. Set this to 0. And we have this. So you basically want to play around. Actually, no. I kind of don't like this. I'll just make it like flicker. Completely flicker. 0, 2, 2. Yeah. 0, 1. Yeah. And there. So you gotta play around with it. So as you saw, like this. And to make it look a bit nicer, you may add BCC lens blur obs again. So just put the keyframe of iris scale right in the point where 2 of these clips meet. Now go to the very beginning of the adjustment layer, set this to 0, and go to the very ending of the adjustment layer, set this to 0. Okay. If it's too much blur, you may do consider checking the graph, but for me it looks okay. It's okay. So as you can see. So yeah, guys, that's all for today. I hope you guys understand by today's tutorial, like how to do these advanced texture. But still, if you guys have any sort of question, feel free to comment down below. I will try my best to solve all of your query. So that's all for today. Take care. Goodbye.